3, 2, 1.
Hey, Mom. If I have any respect for your wishes, which is intermittent at best, this is going to be the last cold open you do with me. But you're not just doing it with me. You are doing it with the one and only Dahlia Schweitzer. Do you remember her now?
Hi, Susan.
Fine, how are you? I love your dark hair. Really gorgeous.
Thank you so much. I love your top.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I remember you with red hair.
It's been everything.
I like the dark one.
Thank you.
So I'm so impressed that you remember one another. That's so great because it was Thanksgiving 2000. What was your last year at New Run? It was something like 2005.
No, it was like 2001.
It was that early?
Yeah, but we were still friends after Neuron, so it might have been when I left New York in 2003.
Wow, 20 years or more.
I have nothing to say.
All right. So Dahlia, you just stand here and look like Madonna in the Me Against the Music video. And I'll talk to my mother. So Mom, you had some roses to show us.
Yes, I got 2 dozen roses from my Mr. X.
From Mr. X. How sexy, how scintillating, how mysterious.
I want to know more about Mr. X.
I'll tell you in private. I'll tell you in private.
There's a lot to tell.
In private.
Yes. So I'll share with the audience and with Dahlia something now. So my mother thinks that a lot of my points of view are outrageous and obscure, and then she talks to Mr. X about me, and he's like, he's right about that, he's right about that, he's right about that. So you can keep him. So how's it going with your friends? Are you still getting a lot of crap for always being the prettiest one in the room?
I have so many jealous friends. They cannot dance. They cannot dress like me. They are not.
You do know this is live, don't you?
Well, they're just not fashionable. And what? They all know that all the guys gravitate towards me. I mean, I'm not bragging.
Actually, this is the quintessence of what bragging is, Mom.
Okay, so I am not. I swear to God, I am not bragging. I swear to God. But I've been told by men and women, with some of my women best friends,
Lesbians.
Men gravitate towards me. But I cannot help it. I am what I am. This is my personality. And at 74, I'm not going to change.
Ladies and gentlemen, my act. Now they know where I get it from. So we have some new faces in the audience. You'll get to see them later, Mom. But for now, why don't you tell everyone what a thrill it is to have me as your son?
Oh my God. I think you're a beautiful, good-hearted, loving son, and I love you so much.
You have not mentioned my irredeemable. You have not mentioned my talent.
Oh, well, your talent now, this is new talent that I didn't know about. I didn't even know that this talent existed. Look, I really never heard you sing. I only saw you dancing once at a wedding. I never knew you were a comedian. I always knew you were an intellectual. I always knew that you were very loving. But this is all new to me. So good luck to you.
Well, thank you so much. Now, Dahlia, you need to get back in the frame for this one. Dahlia gave me some notes regarding my performances. They were quite provocative and useful. She said that I'm less of a stand-up comedian, more of a sit-down comedian because of the awkwardness of my physicality. So any comments you care to make to jump on that particular bandwagon about, my singing? Because you've heard me singing a bunch of songs. You've heard me sing.
Let me clarify that I believe what I mentioned was that one of Sean's strengths is this sort of very, may I be candid, conspiratorial, we're sharing secrets here and being real aspects of his personality. And so I said he should really play up on those during his stand-up by sitting down.
Oh my God, she's so right. I agree with her. I love her. Let's go. The girls are sticking together. I do love her.
More than you know, Susan Sullivan. Well, I guess I misinterpreted what Dahlia said. Isn't she lovely? We have the same glasses. I have those in black. Yes, she is. So, Mom, what are you doing for Christmas?
I don't know yet. What are you doing for Christmas?
Well, I don't know, but in addition to Christmas, there's also Hanukkah, one of your favorite subjects. Dahlia, when does Hanukkah, that holiday for North American Jews who are jealous of Christmas, start?
The 25th, actually, this year.
What?
Yeah, it overlaps Christmas.
Why so late?
You know, the moon.
Wow.
My Jewish friend Steve Pollard said the same thing. Hanukkah is coming late this year, and it all depends on the Jewish calendar.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Mom, we're going to wrap this up and move on with the main portion of our show. This has certainly been a delight. We all love you very much. You get more callbacks on open mic night than I do because of your sparkling, attractive, luscious personality. But feel free to tune in. Just go to YouTube and then Center for Talking Arts, and we'll be the live stream.
Okay, I love you. Dahlia, nice seeing you.
Lovely to see you too.
Fabulous.
Ah.
I say ciao, Bella.
Ciao, Bella.
Ciao, baby. I love you, Sean.
And say, don't forget Dexter, damn it.
Oh, I heard Dexter's voice before. Dexter, I recognize your voice.
Hi, Susan.
How's your family?
Great, thank you.
Great.
How's-
Nice seeing you.
Nice seeing you too. I've been listening the whole time. I love your shirt.
Thank you so much, my Picasso.
Hi, Susan.
Turn around. Turn around. You're safe. Jason Thompson isn't here.
Don't change, Susan.
The one who wanted you to start a foot fetish page on OnlyFans. Okay, you can dance. Well, the entire audience, Mom. All 3,000 people. Mom, I have to sing my Madonna song.
Bye, Susan.
Bye, Susan.
Love you. Bye.
I'm celebrating my birthday tomorrow.
Your birthday. First of all, I tried. Why can't I hang up on you? The second thing is, your birthday was the 2nd. Oh, why not? All right, I love you. Goodbye. And if this doesn't hang up, don't say anything. Ladies and gentlemen, live from the Center for Talking Arts at 154 James Street South in downtown Hamilton, it's the weekly talk show. Yay, yay, woo! With your host, Sean Patrick Sullivan. And you can dance for inspiration. Come on! I'm waiting. Get into the groove, boy. You've got to prove your love to me. Yeah. Get up on your feet. Yeah, step to the beat. Boy, what will it be? Music can be such a revelation. Dancing around, you feel the sweet sensation. We might be lovers if the rhythm's right. I hope this feeling never ends tonight. Only when I'm dancing can I feel this free. At night I lock the doors where no one else can see. I'm tired of dancing here all by myself. Tonight I want to dance with someone else. Get into the groove, boy, you've got to prove your love to me. Yeah, get up on your feet, yeah, step to the beat. Boy, what will it be? In a special way, this doesn't happen to me every day. Don't try to hide it, love wears no disguise. I see the fire burning in your eyes. Only when I'm dancing can I feel this free. At night I lock the doors where no one else can see. I'm tired of dancing here all by myself. Tonight I want to dance with someone else. Get into the groove, boy, you've got to prove your love to me. Yeah, get up on your feet, yeah, step to the beat. Boy, what will it be? All right, I think we've had enough of that. I love that song, but it sure is repetitive. Remember when people had 5 minutes worth of attention? Anyway, that's it for the opening number. Ladies and gentlemen, your host for the evening, Sean Patrick Sullivan. Dexter, could I possibly bother you for a paper towel? I am schwitzing, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm new to all of this.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you so much. I can't believe I caught that. All right. Let's get situated. Hey, everyone out there in the interwebs. Do we still call them the interwebs? How are you doing tonight?
Microphone.
Okay. But I have such a loud, booming voice. Why would I need a microphone? Oh, yes. It's an AV thing. So, we have people from all over the place tonight. We won't bother with the introductions again. We've done them before. But I think it's time that you and I have a little bit of a conversation about how we're treating politics in our place in the world. The election's over. Can everyone just please calm down and love one another? For those of you who aren't happy with the way that the election went, could you please just consider the possibility that things are going to turn out great for you? And for those of you who are thrilled with the way the election went in the United States, which is, by the way, not Canada, so Canadians, I don't know why you're so obsessed with this in the first place. We have our own country to deal with. But for those of us who are happy, can we please not be smug and condescending and overly joyous? Can we please promise our loved ones who are a little touchy right now that we'll be the first ones, that we'll be keeping an eye, that we'll have one eye open when we sleep, and that if anything goes wrong, that we'll be the one to sound the alarm so that the other half of our population can calm down? Can we do that, everybody? Can we do that? Wow, that's an unpopular sentiment. Okay, that's my public service announcement for the day. So, in other news, it looks like I am, remember I've been saying that I've wanted to go back to a 2-week homeless residency because of the weight loss that it produces? Well, it looks like that's going to happen Saturday night. Where I live, we're not allowed in from 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. the following day. It's not a lot of time. It's not a lot of time, but the electricity is going to be turned off. The water is going to be turned off. Reasons why are kind of mysterious. So I have nowhere to go. So if anybody wants to invite me somewhere, I'm open and available, sober and celibate, unless someone else is paying for it. All right. Now, the last thing that I'll mention before we bring out our first, last, and only guest for the evening, probably, is that this Friday at the Center for Talking Arts, we are going to be hosting the second musical comedy cabaret. We have a terrific lineup, including, I don't know if we can get a camera on him, but Randy Hughes was one of our brilliant performers from last time. Oh, by the way, he just so happens to be hosting tomorrow's open mic as well. It's just going to be a great show, and I hope everyone comes out. All right. Enough of me. Let's move on to one of my best friends. She is a singer. She is a writer. She is a scholar. And she has, for all of you tonight, accomplished the truly amazing and commendable goal of getting away with wearing white on the first day that it has decided to snow in Hamilton. Thank you, Mother Nature. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the one and only Dahlia Schweitzer! Oh, I'm okay. Live television, people. Live television.
Non-stop excitement over here.
Sorry about that.
I get my own microphone.
Yes, you do. You can get yourself comfortable. All right. So, wow, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So, we saw each other last night, but before that, it had been how long?
A million years.
A million years. And we still a Madonna fan?
Always till I die.
And did you happen...
Even if I have issues with her plastic surgery.
What are your issues?
Too much. Stop.
Do you think it's fair, though, to get work done for the camera rather than for the world? Hold
Sure.
on, that was very unclear. Let me roll back. It seems to me as though her work is designed to look good when on stage with theatrical makeup and lighting.
I just feel like, and I think we've talked about this, that part of her personality got lost with Guy Ritchie and it's just never been found again. That is perhaps a controversial statement.
He kind of sort of admitted to doing a number on her head when he was on Joe Rogan.
I didn't listen to that.
Yeah, it was
Tell
a
me
really
more.
interesting interview. She was never mentioned by name.
Mm-hmm.
And he told this story about being really angry that she was better at yoga than him. And him kind of messing with her because of it and now feeling bad about it.
I'll have to go back and listen to that.
Yeah. Did you like Swept Away?
I loved it.
What'd you love about it?
The fashion, the drama, the intrigue.
The fake tans.
The fake tan's beautiful. Oh my God, Madonna with the fake tan is such a good look.
I love it. Did you know that the guy who played her lover was the son of the guy who played the same role in the original movie?
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, he was. That's a very Italian thing.
That's a very brilliant casting.
Yeah, so I think it was Rossellini who directed Assessione, which was an unauthorized World War II neorealist film version of The Postman Always Rings Twice. Mm-hmm. And the man who played the lead, the drifter, played the same role in Antonioni's version, which happened 10 to 15 years later, which was set in the wealthy North, Milan specifically, rather than the poor South. So that happens a lot. Sophia Loren also played the same role that she played in Two Women in the television remake of that movie. It happens a lot.
It is very Italian.
I like that. Have you ever been to Italy?
I've played shows in Italy.
Oh, you have?
I have a music video that was filmed in Italy.
Which one was that?
Plastique. It was filmed in Rome.
That
Sorry,
was
in Milan.
I got my first Roman follower today.
Oh, lucky you.
No, yesterday. He's working on a cover of a song from the American Life album, but he won't tell me which one.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
We discussed earlier it's one of our favorite albums.
Absolutely. Absolutely, I love it. This is kind of old news, but we haven't had a chance to speak about it, so I want your opinion. Did you see the video footage of Britney Spears' conservatorship hearing?
I did not.
It was riveting. It was really, really riveting. And the thing that, and I've never really put two and two together. It's coming to me right now on this stage. I feel a little nauseous. I feel a little dry in the mouth. But I'm realizing that I started giving a lot more weight to a lot more conspiracy theories about the way that places like Hollywood and Washington, D.C. work after hearing her.
I believe that. That makes sense.
I tend to be a fairly decent judge of character when people are ranting or sweaty or angry, kind of like I am all the time on stage. Like, are they lying? Are they crazy? Are they onto something? Are they seeing and telling the truth but doing it in a symbolic way rather than a factual way? And it was really clear to me that she was angry beyond words, and that she had been betrayed by everyone around her, like absolutely positively everyone.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to Madonna, because for a while she was the only person defending her publicly.
Yeah,
Any
I
thoughts on
remember.
that?
Just that I agree, and that's a conspiracy theory that I do believe. I believe the conspiracy theorists in the case of Britney.
Do you know what the figure is for the state of California in terms of people who have been involuntarily committed for more than 72 hours?
No.
So there's a mental health organization that's relatively mainstream. It's not a Save Britney or Free Britney organization. It's just a mental health organization. And they estimate that 40 to 50% of people who have been involuntarily committed in the state of California have been done so by coworkers, colleagues, family members for the sake of gaining access to their estates.
Wow.
So that's another light and frothy topic for what's supposed to be a comedy podcast. So some of you out there will be interested to know that Dahlia and I met at a digital agency called New Run, which originally had its headquarters in Paris. They were moved to Montreal. We worked at the satellite office in New York City. It has since been absorbed by Publicis. And we worked there when websites were kind of in the place that music videos were in the era of Like a Virgin, Billie Jean, Love is a Battlefield, et cetera. It was like the Wild West. You want to talk about that with us for a moment? Was it a weird time for you?
The only weirdness about it was that it was the only time in my life I've pretended to be corporate friendly.
And how good do you think you were at it?
I don't know. You saw me from the outside.
Everyone thought you were amazing.
Oh, well, there you go.
And I got into trouble after you left.
Well, you always get into trouble after I leave.
Why couldn't you keep her here? I'm like, I didn't know that was my job. So you were the executive producer, basically.
I was the manager of the L'Oreal account.
Yes. But you did a lot more than that. And you've had such a big career. In fact, you've had a few. So walk us through. So you go to school for what? Originally, because you've been in school a few times.
I went to college originally for film, but I wanted to work with video and they wouldn't let me, so I switched to photography.
Hold on. Who wouldn't let you?
The film department at Wesleyan.
Because?
It was still very traditional in those days, and you couldn't work with video. You had to shoot on film, and it had to be 16 millimeter, and you had to pay thousands of dollars to be able to do it because film was very expensive, and you had to edit it on an old school Avid machine and all this stuff.
Who did they think you were? Patty Jenkins?
Couldn't say.
I don't know. And then what happened?
And then I worked for the Museum of the Moving Image.
Okay.
And then I decided I was bored with the nonprofit world, and I started.
Oh, can we talk about not-for-profit for a minute?
Sure, of course.
So one of my fringe beliefs is that we need to get rid of not-for-profit corporations because it's really nothing but one money laundering opportunity after another. From the inside, Dahlia, what are your thoughts on that?
Incredible mismanagement.
In general, you think always?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, you've spoken to friends who've worked in similar places and all of that.
Yes.
It always comes
but
down
again,
to that.
I'm not making a blanket statement. I'm just saying.
Please make a blanket statement.
I'm just saying that when you don't have to turn a profit, it can be easier to mismanage funds.
Which is why, as a system, capitalism is a mess, but it's still
The best thing we got going.
and it's the one that's the least corrupt, shockingly, out of all of them. All right, let's move on to something less controversial. So you left the Museum of the Moving Image.
I did.
For?
Porn.
Oh, I forgot about that phase.
It's not on my resume.
Okay, this is going to be great for ratings. Okay, tell me more, and look directly into a camera as you're doing it.
Well, this was the early days of the internet, and I wanted to get into management and, you know, account management, client management.
Yes.
And no one will let you do something for the first time because you haven't done it before. But it's like, well, how are you going to get a job doing it if no one will let you try it? So I got a job working for a guy who owned, I think, 800 different adult websites. And I managed those websites and was responsible for the branding of those websites. And I did that for a couple months.
Did you like it? Was it terrible? Were you just in a constant state of learning and curiosity?
It was terrible. He was completely controlling. He wouldn't let me do anything. I had all these great ideas for how to improve the content, and he wouldn't let me do anything. And then he'd get frustrated with me for not doing anything. But the 3 months that I spent were enough to then leverage to my next job, which was working for managing the L'Oreal account.
So
it worked out in the end.
I forget. And of course, any question I ask, you don't have to answer. But were you on camera at all? I forgot.
No, I was not on camera.
Okay.
I was in a room that was about 80 degrees because all the servers were in there. So it was very unglamorous.
So you really were an internet innovator, because that really, I got half of my idea.
Well, those were in the early days when the only people making money off the internet was porn.
Well, half of the ideas that I had for L'Oreal, Louis Vuitton, and everyone else that we served at that agency came from porn.
Well,
and the way that those sites did everything, the way they incentivized people, the way they prompted people, that's where I got all of my ideas from.
Totally. And
all of my ideas in terms of how to move people along and make money, not what colors to use or anything.
I remember when I was talking to different internet recruiters and I said, should I not mention this? Should I leave this off my resume? And they said, oh, no. Everybody understands that that's where you're learning all the real valuable skills that everybody wants to get hold of. So at that time, it wasn't something to be embarrassed about. So that's when I worked for Neuron, and that's when we knew each other.
And do you have a favorite Neuron memory? Or a least favorite Neuron memory?
You.
Was I the favorite or the least favorite?
You were the favorite.
Okay. You were and still are mine.
I remember when I dress in personas, and you were the first person that got that.
How could I not?
When you told me one day that we were having an Eyes of Laura Mars moment, and I felt seen for the first time in my life.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. While you were at Neuron, because why not, you also started playing guitar in an all-woman punk band.
Correct.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? And then
none of us knew how to play our instrument, so we felt
neither did the Go-Go's.
There you go. So we felt, why not? We're going to be okay.
And you eventually became the lead singer.
I did.
But wait, there's more. You were also the founder of rockerchick.com.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And was I the only man who ever wrote an article for that publication?
You were, in fact.
Okay. And can you tell everyone what that article was about?
I don't remember.
So the article was called Judith Light. I did two. Actually, I did two. I did a Britney Spears article.
I feel like I remember the Britney Spears one.
But I also did an article called Judith Light Makes Meryl Streep Look Like an Amateur. And it was about how Judith Light was the world's greatest actress.
I do remember. I remember this conversation. I don't remember the article.
And also, the article had that picture of her, that publicity still from Who's the Boss, with the gigantic puffy sleeves. And I was talking about how her intensity, her neuroticism, her arousing erotic blend of masculine and feminine energy really was a statement for the times. Mm-hmm. Because the problem of whether or not women would be allowed to do things was over, and now we were entering a new era of how the hell am I going to manage all of these choices? Mm-hmm. You did more at New Run.
Did I?
Yes, you did. You also befriended Helen Gurley Brown, not the founder actually, but the editor-in-chief of Cosmopolitan magazine.
Was that when I was at Neuron that I started writing to her?
You started.
Okay.
The relationship, as I remember it, went on.
Oh, it went on for years. Yeah, I
But-
have all the letters saved.
But why don't you tell us who Helen Gurley Brown was?
So Helen Gurley Brown was a feminist icon who started Cosmopolitan magazine and was a major trendsetter in the worlds of copywriting. Major female copywriter, started Cosmopolitan, well, rebranded Cosmopolitan magazine. It had already
Yes, it was a
existed.
literary magazine.
And turned it into the phenomenon that it became, and wrote Sex and a Single Girl, which was this amazing book that basically kind of revolutionized this idea that women didn't have to get married and that women could be single and they could enjoy sex.
And it was a strange book, too, because...
It was like a how-to manual for how to be a single girl.
Yes, and it was divided into chapters like clothing, food, housing, dating. And it would veer from a story from her own life to, so this is what you do. You can't have a roommate. You're better off living on the west side than the east side because there's more subways. And when you get out of the subway, make sure that you're always walking, which means that if you have to go in this direction, then take the left. And then it would...
And she'd have recipes.
And it was very specific, but the recipes were integrated, right?
It was like, if you want to have a dinner party, here are the meals you should make.
Yes. And only 2 drinks. If people can't deal with that, it's better that they leave now. All sorts of great
She
stuff.
was amazing.
And how was she with you?
I guess she was sort of like
I mean, she likes you enough to do the blurbs on the back of, I think, 2 of your books.
one of my books. But she wrote me many letters, and I remember she loved my Plastique album and said she danced around her apartment to it.
That's so amazing.
I know.
That's so amazing. Okay, so this career, so you know that this is basically your career retrospective, right?
I do, and at some point I'm going to have to sing a song.
Yes, you are, but it's not even 9 o'clock yet. So, you know why she's able to do all of this, ladies and gentlemen? Because she cuts off her social life at 7 p.m. She is working late tonight for us. Damn it.
This is true. This is past my bedtime.
All right, so it's very Jamie Lee Curtis of you. So what happened next? So you left New Run and you...
Went and I worked for a company because I realized that I couldn't pull off the corporate disguise any longer. I'd had it up to here.
You could. You would just die inside, but you could have done it.
I was dying inside too much. So I worked for a company that made online games for kids, which was a much more informal atmosphere.
And it was called?
And it was called Templar Studios.
And I did, when I was hallucinating, have a vision that you were actually Mary Magdalene.
Wow.
And that you had been put into my life to lead me in a certain direction.
I understand. Did I have like an aura around me?
No, but you actually wrote the lyrics to Madonna's Messiah and just loaned them to her.
Okay.
Anyway, so you were at Templar Studios. It was a gaming company.
Yes. It was a gaming company. Our primary clients were Lego and National Geographic, Nickelodeon, those kinds of companies. And I worked there for a couple years and focused on my band and my music.
And you were living in the Lower East Side at this time?
I was.
Okay.
I was very punk rock.
As someone like you must. Now, what happened next?
And then I went to Berlin for 3 years to be a full-time musician.
Why Berlin?
My band was playing a show, and my guitar teacher came, and he said, "You're wasting your time in New York. You've got to go to Berlin. They're never going to understand you here, but they're going to love you over there."
Did they?
They did.
Now,
I was on the cover of one of the major magazines within like 2-3 months of moving there.
wow. So, Berlin.
Berlin.
Jew. Talk.
One of my grandmother's sisters had been in Berlin before the Holocaust, and I always kind of felt like there was a familiarity to the city that I couldn't put into words. And I know that there were definitely many Jewish people.
What you think? Hold on. You think that was just genetically?
It felt that way.
Was it
to me.
weird?
No, I'm saying it. From the first time I went there to visit, before I even realized I was going to move there, it felt like home.
Does it still? Do you ever miss it?
I do. I miss it regularly. But I need a full-time job now. I'm too old to tour.
Got it. Now, before we talk about what came after Berlin, I'm going to ask you something that I asked you before. It won't be repeating it for the audience because no one ever heard it because the sound was all, you know, my laptop was a mess. So I agree with Margaret Thatcher on many topics. One of them is that if you don't have enemies, you're not living. Mm-hmm. So talk to us about your...
I know where you're going here.
Talk to us about your rivalry with Torontonian rock goddess Peaches.
All I know is that she didn't like me. I think she was annoyed about that magazine cover. Her boyfriend ran one of the most popular clubs in Berlin, and I was forbidden from ever performing there.
I have no idea what that feels like. Go ahead.
Even if other people were organizing the night, I was not allowed to be on the bill. It was like an edict from the top down.
I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
We're so similar in so many ways.
Yes, we are.
So why did you leave Berlin?
I decided I was going to go to graduate school and become a teacher because I wanted a life that was a little bit more stable.
I don't think that was your first choice, though.
Yeah, it was. I don't get it.
The Charlie's Angels theme song?
Yeah.
Don't you remember you applied to be on the LAPD?
That was after I'd moved to LA already.
Okay.
So
I brought it up. So can you tell us about it? Because
of course.
Because like at this point you're like, I'm just gonna freak people out at parties and elevators and always have like a new career to like freak people out with the trends. Like what? Like I love it. I love it. I relate to it.
I moved to LA to go to graduate school. I had gotten a scholarship to this master's program that was a really great blend of all the different things I wanted to do. And so that's what first brought me to LA. That's what brought me from Berlin to LA.
Okay.
And I went to graduate school.
And was that your first time living in LA?
My first time, yes.
So please talk about that for a moment.
I had gone out to LA once to visit before I moved to Berlin, when I was kind of trying to figure out what to do with my life. And I went to LA, I visited a friend, and I was so freaked out because the Golden Globes were about to happen, and it was all everyone could talk about. Like, everybody was obsessed with the fact that the Golden Globes were happening, and it was just like, just felt so disconnected from real life that I was like, I could never live here. And there I was.
Remember when people cared?
Yes.
All right, so what came next?
So I moved to LA, I got my master's degree, the economy collapsed, it was no longer possible to get a full-time teaching job with just a master's. I adjuncted for a couple of years, it was really tough.
Is it as terrible as they say?
It is terrible.
Is it really like 90% administration, 10% faculty, no power, et cetera?
Yes, exactly. And so that's why I decided maybe I would be a cop. And I applied to the LAPD.
And
they rejected me.
Because your IQ was too high?
They actually don't tell you. They send you this kind of ridiculous form letter that says that you were rejected for a variety of concerns. They don't elaborate. They say that you're welcome to appeal, but they basically say that your appeal is going to be put in a file cabinet somewhere and no one's ever going to get back to you. So you might as well just move on with your life.
Well, I think it was brilliant and courageous of you to apply in the first place.
Thank you. I think I would have been a good cop.
And I do too. And I could be the bad cop. And, and I think it probably was because of your IQ, because most American police departments do cut off applicants, depending on the department, anywhere from 130 to 150. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So neither you nor Gina Davis would do well with that. So what came next?
So then I was, again, still trying to figure out how do I stop adjuncting. And then I decided I would try applying for PhD programs.
And you went to?
And I went to UCLA and I got my PhD in cinema and media studies. And then I got a full-time teaching job. And now I live in New York and I teach cinema and media studies at FIT.
You don't just teach it. Give them your full title. I
am chair of the film and media department at FIT.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
And I couldn't imagine anyone better to do it. Now, very quickly,
Yeah.
at what let's not even bother placing it in the chronology. It's just too much for people to take. It's too much for me to take. But you did write 4 novels during this time?
I always have to count on my hands how many novels I've written, but that sounds about right.
Okay, so it's 4 novels. Do you remember the titles or not?
I wrote Lover Girl.
Okay.
I wrote I've Been a Naughty Girl.
Yes.
I wrote Breathe With Me.
Yes.
And I wrote Queen of Hearts.
Wow. But when, upon re-entering academia, you kind of shifted focus in your writing
Oh, and
to...
Seduce Me. 5.
Oh, 5. They're all available on Amazon.
They are all available on Amazon.
So, but then you switched gears.
I did.
And here's what I would really, really, really love.
Yes.
I'd love it so much. I'd appreciate it so much. Let's go through your books.
Sure.
In the order that they were published. And just do a quick 1 or 2 minute reading, and you can set them up. It's kind of like...
I'm prepared.
It's kind of like Oprah's book club without any of the Illuminati connections.
Okay.
So the first one that you published, show it to everyone.
Is this one. It's called Cindy Sherman's Office Killer, Another Kind of Monster.
Dahlia, who's Cindy Sherman?
Cindy Sherman is an amazing, fantastic photographer.
Who is friends with?
Jean Triplehorn, Molly Ringwald.
And inspired the career of? Madonna.
Oh, they're not friends.
They're not anymore?
They've never been friends.
Oh, I heard otherwise.
No, they've never been friends.
Okay.
No, Madonna's too cool.
Okay.
Madonna is a fan of Cindy Sherman, but they've never been friends.
Okay. Okay. I'm corrected. Why not?
I did actually ask Cindy about it.
Oh, I forgot you interviewed her.
No, we're friends.
You and her are friends.
We're friends. Yeah, I've never
Okay.
interviewed her.
Way to bury the lead, Dahlia.
I didn't know we were going there. I didn't know that was the lead.
So Cindy Sherman is an incredibly important artist, incredibly important. And since you're her friend and you've written the book about her, please stop me
Okay.
if I say anything wrong.
I will.
But she did this strange type of portraiture in which she played characters that resulting in photographs that felt as though they were pulled from entire movies. It's amazing when you look at one of her photographs and she would have phases, and I don't know if I'm doing it justice, but... And no one had ever really worked in photography like that. Yeah. So anyway, tell us about, Office Killer, starring Carol Kane,
Yes,
was the only movie she ever directed.
correct.
And tell us about the book. And then read something from it.
And so the book is sort of a love letter from me, I guess, to her about the movie, which I think is an extraordinary movie. And when it came out, it really got kind of torn apart and shat on by critics. And I felt that
who else was in it?
Carol Kane, Jean Triplehorn, Molly Ringwald, Michael Imperioli were the leads.
The movie, as I remember it, feels more relevant now.
Because of the relationship that we have with technology?
And disease.
Well, then you had AIDS, which
Yes.
obviously we still have, but
Yes.
I don't
Do
know
we?
if it's more or less relevant.
Yes. So go ahead, please read something.
Okay. So I just pulled out a little section to read. We cut to the basement. Nora is waking up. She is on the floor, sitting back against the base of the couch, her head slumped to the side, sweaty hair stuck to her face. It is not the same couch as in the flashback. This one is red leather without flowers, but the Raggedy Ann doll is still reclining on the left-hand edge. Nora's head rolls around, and we are reminded again of how much she resembles a waxen Jackie O. She is the first lady of the magazine, the pink-suited, wide-eyed wife to the missing editor-in-chief, the sugar sweet on top, secret agenda underneath Lady of Camelot, a smile hiding a steely determination, her head always a little too big for her body, a doll-like quality disguising life-size determination. Her face is pale, gleaming in the light of the television directly in front of her. She vomits a little, a trail of viscous fluid dangling between her lips and her fingers, holding her head in her hands. Her French manicure is still so immaculate that we wonder why she would have suggested going to get a manicure earlier that day. Back in the kitchen, things have grown distinctly less romantic. Daniel has pulled his chair back from the table. He now looks out the sliding door rather than directly at Doreen. Doreen sits in the center of the table further away from him. They are no longer facing each other. The first date energy is over. As if to make this even more obvious, Daniel decides to make really awkward small talk. But it is not, I'm too nervous because I like you, small talk. It is, I don't want to be here, but I want to be here in silence, even less small talk. He asks her a banal question, how's it been going for you? That she uses to open up her own multi-layered narrative. It has been going so well. I'm figuring out who I am and becoming a real person. In the very beginning, I was spooked by all the gadgets. In the very beginning, I was shy and awkward and didn't talk to anyone. But then I worked really hard. But then I discovered the power I really had. I just studied and studied and studied. I just killed and killed and killed. And now I really feel as though the computer is my best friend. And now I am a powerful being enabled by my understanding of myself and my understanding of technology.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you had the book in front of you, in that last part, you would see that those were actual quotes from the movie, but then in each case, the second line was what Dahlia pulled out in terms of subtext. The type of writing that you did in this book was not very popular when it was published. It's kind of like, it's a very close, shot by shot, scene by scene reading, very new criticism, and most of your colleagues were still quite immersed in post-structuralism and all of that stuff.
They still are.
So, unfortunately, how was it to put forward a book with such an incredibly close reading and and I mean this in the best possible way, old-fashioned approach to film criticism?
I think people still see it as old-fashioned. It has not yet had its moment in the sun. But what I will say that has been a major accomplishment is that the book has now made people give the movie a second look. So now the movie gets mentioned more, it gets included more in her exhibitions. It is no longer this kind of forgotten, looked over thing. Excellent.
And as a teacher, you deal with undergraduates regularly?
I do.
All right, so what's the value of this type of scholarship for an undergraduate, learning how to read movies in this way?
It basically teaches you how to perform close analysis, and once you have those skills, you can apply them to anything.
Excellent. Thank you. I feel like for a moment, I felt like it's Saturday Night Live, and I'm impersonating one of those NPR DJs, and I'm Anna Gasteyer, so I'm sorry for that. So what was the next book that you published?
Well, the next book that I published I didn't bring because I was limited to 4. But the next book that I published...
Hold on. Just tell them what it is.
...was Going Viral, Zombies, Viruses, and the End of the World.
So you talked about zombies in movies and television?
Correct.
And viruses?
In American movies and television.
Okay. One of these days, you'll have to pick a relevant topic. But what was the next book that you brought with you?
And then the next book that I wrote was called Haunted Homes, and it is about the haunted house in American film and television.
Like the Amityville Horror, so on and so forth?
Like the Amityville Horror, exactly.
Did you include the others in that?
The other Amityvilles?
No, the others.
The movie, the others. Yes, I did. The others is in here.
That's one of my favorite movies.
Yes, that is in here.
So, what's your take on do you have a take on haunted houses in popular culture that you can share with us, or would you rather just read the passage?
Or
like, what's the role of the haunted house? What's the enduring popularity of it all about?
Well, it reinforces the cis heteronormative hierarchy, patriarchy, and it's all about a way of our repressed traumas and horrors. But yeah, let me read a little bit about it for you.
Yes, please do.
A significant theme of the suburban Gothic tradition is that, unlike with most conventional horror narratives, in which the external threat could be a vampire, an alien, or a serial killer, danger often comes from within. If not from within the family, then from within the home itself. For example, in the movie Malicious, David explains to Lisa and Adam, a married couple that relocates to a new house in a new town, that homes are usually left unlocked in their town. Adam asks if that is safe, and David replies that, in his experience, most people's problems happen behind closed doors. The threat is already inside. This theme appears to be a direct response to a specific aspect of suburbia, the chilling realization that, for many women and children, the home is the most dangerous place. Contrary to the stereotypical notion that a home is one's castle, and if not a castle, then at least a fortress, the home is actually where women are most likely to be attacked. In an article entitled 30 Domestic Violence Statistics That Remind Us Is an Epidemic, Alana Vagianos compares the number of troops killed in Afghanistan and Iraq between 2001 and 2012 to the number of American women who were murdered by current or former male partners during that time, 6,400 to 11,766. In haunted home narratives, women are frequently the recipients of violence, either from actual humans or from ghosts. And then I go on to give examples.
All right. Now, I noticed that these two books have similar designs. Was this part of a larger series?
Yes.
And was the entire series yours? Or?
No, it's a series that Rutgers University Press does that's meant to be what they call quick takes. So these sort of little mini books that allow you to kind of understand a smaller concept, possibly in 1 or 2 sittings.
And so the first one must have done well, must have been beautifully received, because I see a second one called Quick Takes, Movies and Popular Culture, L.A. Private Eyes by Dahlia Schweitzer.
And you would be correct. So L.A. Private Eyes looks at one of my favorite topics, which is the private detective in Los Angeles.
Now, why do you love the private detective trope or motif?
I find it very soothing that you have this one character who is always able to make things right by the end of the story.
Hit it.
Unexpectedly, for a city known for sunshine and sprawl, noir was defined by Los Angeles, and Los Angeles was defined by noir. The real-life characteristics of Los Angeles, the endless winding roads, the sudden cliffs and breathtaking views, the waves beating against the shore, the rows of palm trees, the Hollywood glitterati with their sordid secrets, the Spanish-style architecture, became intertwined with the noir aesthetic. The urban form offered by Los Angeles is markedly different from the urban form of Manhattan. This allowed Los Angeles to become the ultimate example of a city sans center, a perfect setting for a protagonist who cannot find his way home. The aimless sprawl, the insular nature of specific neighborhoods, and the fundamental incomprehensibility of the city became repeated themes in film noir, as well as in detective narratives, in film, television, and books. Not only was the verticality of New York superseded by the horizontal nature of Los Angeles, the claustrophobia of Manhattan replaced by seemingly endless urban sprawl, but the jostling crowds of Midtown were exchanged for the isolation of a car. Nowhere became as defined by the automobile as Los Angeles. And then I go on and I talk about how highways were first invented in Los Angeles, and how any sense of a central urban community was now replaced by freeway exits. And then I talk about why Los Angeles was the perfect setting for the detective, because of all the corruption and the racial tensions and Hollywood and the sort of Wild West mentality.
Beautiful. Now, before we leave this book and this subject, you live in Los Angeles,
I used to, for
you used to
13
live in
years.
Los Angeles. So I've heard terrible things about what Los Angeles has become. Do you still have friends there, or is it exaggerated? Do you have a sense of melancholy over, or was it like that already? It just,
What terrible things have you heard?
The taxes are out of control. It's so overregulated that you need lawyers on site to change the garage door in your house, that there's homeless people everywhere.
They do have a lot of homelessness. I mean, it's, the weather's really nice.
Compared to Hamilton, how is it?
It's worse. Because Hamilton, you have the cold weather. So if you're going to be homeless, it's a pretty good place to be homeless.
Got it.
Because it never gets that cold.
I thought that you were going to say that the numbers of homeless people diminishes in the winter because of the number of people who die.
No, I did not know that.
Or lose tremendous amounts of weight. But what do you think in totality? What do you think of the city now that you're out of it?
I'm surprised by how much I miss it, actually.
I can see why. And how are you feeling about New York nowadays, being back there?
Average.
Got it. Now, talk to us about the book you're writing now.
Sure. So the book that I'm writing now, I have a little excerpt from it. And it was inspired by my fascination with the Black Dahlia, which I first became really into while I was living in Los Angeles. And I think, my interest in all things noir. And then I also happened to live around the corner from the house where I believe she was killed. So I thought about her a lot.
Now, people tend not to read nowadays, nor study history. And for those of you out there who do, thank you. Please keep it up. We need to. But can you tell everyone who the Black Dahlia was?
Yes. So the Black Dahlia was a woman named Elizabeth Short who was famously murdered in Los Angeles in 1947, and her killer was never found.
And there have been so many theories and hypotheses, ranging from the Zodiac Killer to famous photographer Man Ray. So many books. But now give us your point of view on the subject.
So I'm just going to read an excerpt from the very beginning of the chapter on the Black Dahlia. And I'm talking about how everybody refers to true crime as this sort of contemporary phenomenon, and how the 21st century has been described as a highly mediated crime fest where the visual representation of crime and punishment plays out in reality TV theaters of the absurd. However, true crime narratives are not a new phenomenon. Rather, they are an iteration of an old set of cultural fixations on women, whiteness, patriarchy, and social justice, anchored in a history of art, pulp fiction, and film. True crime's particular focus on the fetishization of female bodies, also evident in noir, horror, and porn films, feeds a prurient consumer economy that is also not a new phenomenon. This chapter will use the Black Dahlia murder, the impact of which was all the more legendary because of its timing and location. Los Angeles, at the height of film noir's popularity, during one of the worst eras of police corruption, and right at the peak of radio and pulp magazines' fascination with true crime, to help understand not only why true crime is so riveting now, but also why it was riveting long before our current cultural moment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the name of that book is going to be?
Dead Bombshells.
And it's coming out when?
TBD.
Excuse me.
I have to finish writing it first.
Okay. All right. So what's next? What's next on the horizon for Dahlia Schweitzer?
That book, unfortunately.
Beyond that, and not unfortunately, it's a brilliant topic.
Oh, well, thank you. One day I would like to own a little house upstate, a little cottage in the woods.
With perhaps
my girlfriend.
someone named Erin.
Yes, who's over there in the corner
Can
on
we
the
do
couch.
that? Can we do this?
Yeah, we can do this. We can do anything.
Hey, Erin. You want to say hello to all the people out there?
Do I?
Do you?
What do I do?
Come on up, ladies and gentlemen. Erin. I only met you yesterday.
Hi, we met yesterday.
Yes. You're entrancing, hilarious. You sing a good karaoke song. How are you liking Hamilton?
It is delightful.
Into the microphone.
Oh, it is delightful.
I've never heard anyone use that word. Go on.
what did I say earlier? Charming, excellent architecture, good brickwork, poutine.
Yeah, in general, you like the food a lot.
Yeah, it was really good.
We've had really good food.
We've had really good food.
And so you live in New York City with Dahlia now?
Currently, yes.
Yes. And before that you were?
Virginia.
And before that you were?
Minnesota.
And before that you were?
Big Island, Hawaii.
And before that you were?
Colorado.
And before that you were?
Wow. Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh.
Are there any more cities, or did it stop there?
Toledo, Ohio.
Wow, you get around. I mean that in a dragonette. I don't mean that in a dragonette
in a sexy
kind of
way
way.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did change my name.
You don't have to tell anyone what it was.
I'm not going to.
The only thing that matters is what it is now.
Yeah.
And do you like it? Because I like it.
I do like it. Yeah.
What's your last name again?
Bijou.
I like that.
How beautiful is that?
It is.
Yeah.
You must have worked very hard on that.
It was my nephew's first word.
Seriously?
Yes.
That's excellent.
Yeah, it was very darling, and we all love him very much.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's get to the Real Housewives content. Damn it! I forgot to ask my mother about her relationship to those. I almost said characters. Those
characters.
Those characters, I guess, on the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Next time, Mom, if there is a next time. But back to you. Tell us what it's like to live with Dahlia.
Relaxing.
Isn't that the nicest thing? That's
Yeah.
really unexpected.
It's very unexpected considering how neurotic I am.
True statement.
Ladies
Thanks,
and
Dexter.
ladies and gentlemen, this winter be on the lookout for Dahlia Schweitzer's new dance album, Neurotica. No, but seriously, go on. Give us a little example of the relaxation.
It's interesting living in New York. I never thought that I was going to end up there, ever. Brooklyn is fascinating, and I don't know. I've been enjoying just like kind of acclimating what we're doing and getting to know one another on a day-to-day instead of a long-distance situation.
Yes.
And
how long have you been living together?
a month and a half.
Okay. And how long was it from the day that you met to the day that Erin moved in, Dahlia?
I believe it was 7 months.
7 months.
What took you so long?
Right?
Bad lesbians.
Bad lesbians.
Well, I happen to think that you're both terrific at being lesbians. So congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up to these two for being such wonderful lesbians. But there's so much more than that. There's so much more than that. So your future, Erin, is in?
Wow. My future is in growing.
Growing.
I am very interested in mycology, and so I've been kind of doing that. And I am a greenhouse grower and flower farm at our tiny cottage upstate.
I think that's delicious. I think that's delicious. Now, I've enjoyed this so much, but you know, I'm getting a message over here from our director that someone's going to be doing.
Well, I feel like it's getting a little hot in here.
It is?
It's getting a little stuffy.
It is. Yeah, let's figure out what's going on.
Yeah, maybe you can adjust the temperature.
I can check the temperature from here. Or at least I think I can. No, I downloaded the app earlier today. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to close the show and everything, but let me just do this for a moment. It is live television. Sometimes these things happen, people. But while we're up here, ladies and gentlemen, can we please give it up one last and very loud time for Erin? But also for the incomparable, amazing Dahlia Schweitzer. Oh, Dahlia! Yes. I found the thermostat app.
Oh, good.
I just have to do something, okay? Are you still burning up?
I am burning up. It's very warm in here.
Keep something up.
Is the mic on? Yeah, perfect. Don't put me out, 'cause I'm on fire, and I can't quench my desire. Don't you know that I'm burning up for your love? You're not convinced that that is enough. I put myself in this position, and I deserve the imposition. But you don't even know I'm alive, and this pounding in my heart just won't die. I'm burning up. I'm burning up for your love. I'm burning up for your love. I'm burning up for your love, baby. You're always closing the door, but that only makes me want you more. Day and night, I cry for your love. You're not convinced that that is enough to justify my wanting you. So tell me what you want me to do. I'm not blind, and I know that you want to want me, but you can't let go. Come on, let go. I'm burning up for your love. I'm burning up for your love. I'm burning up for your love, baby. Do you wanna see me down on my knees? Bent over backwards now, would you be pleased? Unlike the others, I'd do anything. I'm not the same, I have no shame, I'm on fire. Hot, hot, hot. Hot, 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 hot. You got me burning up, baby. You got me burning up, baby. You got me burning up, baby. For your love. Do you want to see me down on my knees? Bent over backwards now, would you be pleased? Unlike the others, I'd do anything. I'm not the same, I have no shame, I'm on fire. Sean, why don't you join me? Yeah. I'm burning up for your love. I'm burning up, baby, for your love. I'm burning up for your love. Burning up for your love. I'm burning up, baby. You got me burning up, baby.
See you down
on my knees, bent over backwards now, would you be pleased? Unlike the others, I'd do anything.
She's not the same.
I have no shame. I'm on fire.
Wow.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dahlia Schweitzer, come back. Come right here so that everyone out there can get one last look at you. This is not a Linda Carter as Diana Prince costume. This is the real deal. This is Dahlia Schweitzer. She writes, she teaches, she sings, she does everything. Look her up on Amazon and elsewhere. What's your Instagram handle?
It's just my name, Dahlia Schweitzer.
There you go. Now get out. Go home. Go home. Have a good night. Thank you, Dahlia. Wow. 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 Night, everybody.